Good morning, brothers and sisters. I just want to talk about I Am the Bread series. And Jesus, when we look at John 6:35, verses 41 again to 51, is talking again, reminding us that I am the bread. And he's not saying this once, but he's telling us twice, I am the bread of life. But my theme this morning is that be the bread of life. Be the bread of life. Maybe you and I are to become the bread of life throughout the Gospels. We see him feeding and nourishing life in so many ways and circumstances. Through his love, presence, guidance, and teaching. Through his healing, forgiveness, and mercy. Through his generosity, compassion, and wisdom. We see the bread that feeds the soul in a world full of pain and uncertainty. Our prayer this morning reminds us to pray for God to grant us the spirit to think and do always those things that are right, and be enabled to live according to his will. Think about all the people, the relationships and experiences that have fed, nourished, and sustained your life. The kind of people that spend their time and their presence with us. They love us, they teach us, they care for us, they encourage us, and our lives are fed and nourished by them. That is the bread that Jesus is talking about. Recall someone who offered you wisdom or guidance, who listened to your life, or spoke a word of hope or encouragement that nourished and sustained your life. They were bread for you. We partake of the bread of someone else's life, and our life is nourished, and our life is sustained, and our life is strengthened. And the corollary question today is this: when have you been bread in someone else's life? What about if Jesus is teaching us to be the bread of life for one another, to become the bread of life for the world? Look at what is happening in the world today, here at home, in the UK, the whole of Africa, Bangladesh, Ukraine, and Russia, and many other parts, Israel and Gaza. These things are affecting individuals, and these things are affecting us collectively. The reality is that there is a lot of bread in this world, like the bread of adversity, the bread of tears, the bread of affliction, the bread of mourning, the bread of wickedness, the bread of idleness. It goes on and on. We experience this in the book of 2 Samuel 18. The world did not do what King David wanted them to do, but they ended up killing Absalom. David cried and cried, but it was too late. The killings and hatreds that are taking places in our communities and all over the world will not bring peace. For Jesus, however, the only bread that matters, the only bread that can bring peace is the bread that endures, the bread of life, the bread in the person of Christ. And as in Psalm 130 that we read, verse 7, our take is to tell the world that with God there is plenteous redemption, that God shall redeem Israel from all their sins. This is because we want everyone to enjoy the bread of life. For Paul to the Ephesians chapter 4, verse 25 makes it clear that we must put away falsehood. Speak the truth to our neighbors, for we are members of one another. We are members of one another. And as in Psalm 130, verse 7, our take is to tell the world that with God there is plenteous redemption. What kind of bread are you eating today? The bread we choose to eat says something about our appetite and what we hunger for. Let's not forget the old saying, you are what you eat. Paul wants us to be kind to one another, tender-hearted to one another, forgiving and living in love with one another. And this is the kind of bread I'm talking about. And this is the kind of bread that Jesus is preaching and is talking about. If we want life, then we need to be eating the bread of life, the bread that makes a difference in people's lives. Jesus, my friend, Jesus is the bread, and we can be the bread of life today. May God bless you so that your life makes a difference in somebody's life. Amen. Amen.